I met a gypsy.
He just had this confidence where you just went, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It wrecked me. But I've seen it with the baseball guys like Justin Verlander and those guys I train, that Giancarlo, that they have that same mentality. It's like, it's just a different breed. They're a
Yeah.
different breed.
How is that cultivated? Are you born with that? Are you like, is there a way to build it over time?
I think you're kind of born that way. Like, I mean, like Lance and I have talked about this a lot. Like, I mean, as a kid, I was 10 years old running hill sprints at 10 at night. You know, just there's something wired in me. I don't know. It was, you know, I grew up with an alcoholic dad, and I just run. You know, I had 12 kids in my family.
Really?
And I was trying to get attention, and you know,
You had 12 kids in your family.
Yeah, I'm one of 12.
Fuck.
And so, and Lance, you know, he had a rough upbringing with his parents, and he was very angry. And
Yeah.
you know, we've talked about this. Like, okay, can you get someone with Lance's drive, or Kobe, or someone like that that hasn't had something trauma or something fucked up in their childhood to have that kind of drive, where like at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I will be at the gym at 1 a.m. Kobe'd be shooting baskets. When I worked with Derek Fisher, he was a basketball player for the Lakers. Kobe would come in once in a while and train, do the foundation stuff once in a while.
Sick.
And he'd go at 1 a.m. sometimes and shoot baskets. Just, he outworked everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Same with Lance. No one worked harder than him. Nobody. And, you know, that's where, you know, they have this something in, I don't know, is that, you know, there's genetic, I'm sure, or is it some trauma or something in your life where you get these freaks that have the talent and that just
that's what it is.
You know, unparalleled, you know, ability to work harder and just want it more than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got
Michael Jordan, same thing.
Yeah, it's got to be this, because what we are is like, we're a blank canvas in terms of like your personal story and your personal history, right? In terms of like, so when you're born in the womb, you've had nothing happened to you. You've had no trauma. You've had no experiences. You've had, so like, you're just a genetic blank canvas, and you have potentiality within your genes. You have like a certain aptitude for like intelligence. You have certain fast twitch. You have slow twitch. You have, you know, where you're going to be someone that is going to be obese because of how easy it is for you to put on weight with your metabolism. Like, so there's this blank slate there. And then that is mixed with the real world experiences, and like, who's your parents, who were their friends, who were their kids, what school did you go to, what area, what country were you born? Like, so it's like, it's almost like you have these two,
were you picked on as a kid, anything,
and that is all, it's so out of your control. The blank canvas that you started with is out of your control, and then the place where you were born into, and the, you know, that's nature versus nurture. You know, like the nature is the DNA, and it's the way that you're born, and then the nurture is the environment that DNA was raised in, and you just end up with this like one of one unique paint color. You know, if you were to mix two colors together,
it's like the perfect storm, like of everything. Like I've seen, I mean, I call them Terminator eyes. I've seen it before. Like Lance, Justin Verlander, Kelly Slater. They walk in the gym,
just go dark.
It's just like, oh my, you know, it's just like, you know, Russell Westbrook, another basketball player. You just go,
right.
You just go, you watch him, he walks in and he's just like, you know, I watched Russell once in a practice. A rookie was coming in, and Russell was already probably one of the best guys. And he came in eating like a 7-Eleven hot dog and like a Coke. 10 minutes late, Russell grabbed the fucking bag, threw it out the door, pushed the kid out of the door because you're fucking wrecking me. If you're not going to make me better, get the fuck out of here. Kicked him out of the gym, and that was it. You know, that, and because that was like, you know, he didn't have any tolerance for anyone that didn't want his intensity. He wanted everyone to rise to him.
Yeah.
And that's how Lance was. He didn't want, in Slater, you know, you see him walk in and there's something, like you said, it's the perfect storm. And some people have 3/4 of it, but there's very few that have all of it. You know, that something that just makes them, it's just special. It's just something in their eyes and in their DNA, like you said, in their nature, nurture. It's just the perfect storm. Like, you know, Kobe, Michael Jordan, Justin, Lance. It's, you know, I mean, you can probably name. Has motocross had one? I don't know. I mean, Chase is pretty good mentally, and he's works hard, but you know, it's, you know, what's remain to be seen. He's, you know, he's still young. You know, can he just all of a sudden get this thing and just turn into this, you know, demigod and win 8 titles, or Jet? You know, But I don't see, even in Jet, he's very happy. I don't see that fucking intense, that like,
demon
"Arr,"
eyes,
yeah,
yeah.
that demon, that like a Kobe. You see Kobe talk, you see him work out, you see him do anything.
Dude, my favorite Kobe, it's not like necessarily a quote, but I guess story, like kind of myth around him was basically like he would get criticized for being a ball hog, and then he did some interview where he's like, why the fuck would I pass them the ball? I see what they do at practice.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Like, why would I fucking give? And that's his teammates. Like that's how
Okay,
ruthless.
that's what I'm saying.
And that makes sense.
I know.
That
It
makes
does,
sense to me.
totally.
It's like, do I trust me to shoot the ball?
Yeah.
Who's been in here and shot 1,000 more reps than this fucking kid with the hot dog and the Coke?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving him the ball.
Yeah, I'd much rather have an athlete that I have to pull back and say, no, you fucking can't do more, because they want to do more than I have to beg them to do something. You'd rather, like with Lance or you'd never see that. You'd have to go, okay, nah, you're not gonna go fucking throw in the pitching thing at 2 a.m. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, so it's but if you don't have the right, like Kobe, if he was to let him run amok, he might have just overtrained himself and just trashed himself.
Well, yeah, and there is that.
You have to have the smarts too, or good people around you to reel you in a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me, I think about it a lot, and because business is the same.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways, to be like, if I strip down my program of, like, as silly as it sounds, like running this podcast,
Mhm.
it's like it's a business, it's this brand, it's got multiple people working for it, it's got one dude at the top of it that owns all of it, and it's like it's a team, right? And I'm hard on people that work for this team because I'm like, this is my intensity, this is my fucking level. Like,
Yep.
if you don't want to be here, yeah,
I
it's,
know
it's,
exactly
it's,
what you mean.
it's
Trust
that
me.
it's that
Yeah.
same kind of intensity, and it's
Yeah.
like it's an athlete mindset and it's an athlete focus, and it's like, I think, you look at a guy like you said, Kenny, he's happiest he's ever been, and like with everything that he's been through, it's like winning isn't the thing that makes you the happiest in life.
No.
Like
No.
when you strip it
No.
back,
No.
and I'm sure Lance could probably
Oh,
admit that at the time that he was winning
that'd
the
be
most,
selfish as hell.
he probably was like extremely unhappy and like
No.
in a fucking probably a pretty shit spot. But it's like there is a point of diminishing returns in everything where it's like you need this crazy level of ego to achieve a certain goal, or like to have a belief and to have the focus and to be selfish. Like even in my position, like there's so many times where I'm like insanely selfish.
Oh, me too.
Where it's like, even my wife the other day, it was Saturday, and I was texting, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
sitting there, we're at food, and she's like, got up, and I'm like, hey, I'm not apologizing for this.
No.
Like, this is, I can't be
preaching to the
sorry.
choir.
This is literally how this has to go, and I'm sorry, but this is
Oh my God.
this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, you need to carry that intensity in aspects of your life
Yeah.
for a certain time period.
You have.
But you also need to know when
That's my
to,
problem.
to not.
I don't know when not to. That's where.
I think that's everyone's
Yeah,
problem.
I was able to work. I still can. Wake up. I train 5 a.m. I train till like 7 at night, and and then my younger trainers just go, "How the fuck do you do this?" Like, and I'm like, "What do you mean you don't want to work on Saturdays? What the fuck?
Yeah,
like what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But that's what you're talking about, that intensity where I just kind of was born with that, and I expect other people to kind of have that. When they don't, I get like a little
It's
irritated.
confusing.
It's like, what do you mean you don't want to go,
Yeah.
do this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that, like I said, it's that perfect storm of, of people, and, we'll see what happens with, motocross, if we get that one guy that just has that Kobe mentality.
Well, I think Carmichael did.
Yeah. I was before my,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about him, and, Lance actually knew him a little bit, and,
Yeah.
but I didn't see him in his day.
Well, so fun fact, Ricky Carmichael has won more second motos than anybody else has won combined.
Yeah. Wow.
So like that tells you what kind of dog
Fitness he
is.
was. Yeah.
Like that's a motherfucking dog that wants to win everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the sport, but he wasn't like a physical specimen.
Yeah.
He was like, when he had the type of body that would just put on massive amounts of weight.
Yeah.
pretty unathletic in, you know, like a box jump and, you know,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
traditional. So like he wouldn't be the athlete. But in terms of mindset, like nobody. Like I'll put him up against like a
Anyway.
Kelly Slater,
Yeah,
a
anyway.
Lance Armstrong. Like
Yeah.
he had that dog,
Terminator,
that
right?
drive, that
Yeah.
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 So I think the sport, and I mean, he was the reason the sport changed.
Yeah.
You know,
He changed training, right?
yeah, he bought it in. You
Yeah,
know,
well, talking to Johnny O, he trained pretty hard too.
yeah,
I talked to him a little bit. I've gotten to know him.
yeah. Back before, well,
Yeah.
he was Ricky's first trainer.
Yeah, I really like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, so he's working with the Lawrences now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ricky was one of the guys that he was one of the guys in our sport that changed it.
Mhm.
And I think, you know, like Dunge,
Yeah.
RV,
Yeah.
you know, and I think they're again, but just not that crazy freak athlete.
No.
Like
Not yet.
I still don't think we've seen like
No.
the full package.
Yeah, every
That just ticks
that's Terminator.
Yeah, that just fully
Yeah.
ticks the boxes.
Yeah, that just everything that's out there. Yeah.
But do you think that other sports, like particularly like stick and ball or football or like more traditional sports, do you think that the mindset type stuff comes easier because there's just like more of a heritage of people to kind of like pass that knowledge on?
No, like you said, I think it's genetic. Like some people just have that,
Mm.
no matter what sport.
Because like you
they're
said, at 10.
no matter what sport you're in, it's just some genetic. Like he said, like there's so many. You start out with this in the womb, and then all of a sudden it's how your parents treated you, how your friends treated you, how trauma, like whatever. There's so many, and I think like those people like Kobe and them had these perfect, whatever the mix was, just to be how they are.
Yeah. And it's like there's so much stuff that's out of your control that shapes
Yeah.
you. Like
Yeah.
even like I had parents that stayed together. I had like a good family. We grew up
Mhm.
in like a pretty shitty area. And one of my most formative parts of my life was having a friend whose dad was like a gnarly drug dealer.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
like literally best friend.
yeah, yeah.
And you know, I came from like a real normal, like really good family, and then I basically like lived with this guy, and he lived with us, where his dad was like in and out of jail, fucking crazy money coming in and out, crazy drugs, crazy like anger, aggression, violence, like, and that shit was like one of the most formative parts of my life, and it fully changed me in a lot
Mhm.
of ways, and in a lot like good ways too, you know, like just seeing
Yeah.
different things. But like that's even something that's so out of my parents' control.
Yeah.
Like who you
No.
even be friends with at school.
Yeah.
I was just a schoolmate.
Well, like, my older, there's 12 kids in my family. The older kids, the top 7 or 8, grew up in this fairy tale. My dad was work all day, and when I was 9, 8, 7, 6, that's when we moved to Santa Barbara. He didn't work. He became an alcoholic, and it just the wheels fell off. And I became like the parent to my younger kids.
So you were like kind of in the middle.
I was 10th.
Okay.
So there's like the 2 ones below me, and me kind of got the tougher end of the stick.
How much older than you is your oldest sibling?
I'm 58. She's like 80 or something like that. Yeah,
That's a trip.
I know. It's weird. My mom had kids with her kids. Like my mom was having babies with her.
While she was being a grandma.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm back to the thing, like a perfect example for me I'm gonna get railed for this too. But I don't see that same intensity in LeBron as I do Kobe.
Yeah.
The same will to win, and like I'm gonna win at any cost, and don't get me wrong, he's an incredible athlete and freak.
Yeah.
But that it thing we're talking about, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like a Kobe or a Kelly Slater or a Lance.
Yeah.
Where I just don't see the same mentality. It's more about me and about what he wants.
About everything that comes with being
Yeah.
the basketball.
Yeah, I'm the
player and
king.
being the king.
Kobe's
Yeah.
not going to call him the king, or
Yeah.
it's like Black Mamba. That's a little different. That's like I'm just a fucking.
I'm death, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like we could discuss this for 5 hours. It's just what's the variable? I
Yeah.
don't know. What's the magic variable? Like, my kids, growing up,
It's a great life.
like
in Santa Barbara.
when my kids were young, I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to go to the gym at 10 years old? Like I just expected them to be like I was.
Yeah.
And my wife kept going, they're not you.
Yeah.
Stop. They're not fucking you. And they both kids turn out to be great, but it's just what caused me to be like, me and want to work like that and at all costs and that's what I keep searching for, like what, and, you know, but you can't make that happen.
Nah.
But, all those guys, Chase, Levi, Tom, they all work so fucking hard. They're all great, but, like, can you make them be like that? Like, you can't.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.